how you doing? It's your boy BrogiNaric back again with another review. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Prey, the new Predator franchise film that was recently dropped on Hulu and was directed by Dan Trachtenberg. This is going to be a non-spoiler review. If you want spoilers, I might do a few spoilers, but nothing too serious. I'm going to go non-spoilers here. But we're talking about the Prey movie, and this is, I think it's the sixth or seventh movie in the franchise. So, quick disclaimer, not a big Predator franchise lover. I've seen the first one, and I recently binge watched most of the franchise. I've binge watched the first one, Predator 2, and Predators. Have not gone back to watch AVP, and I never saw Requiem, and I didn't see the Shane Black one, because you got to pay to watch that on streaming, and I'm not doing that. So, disclaimer, I'm not a big Predator fan, but I do like the concept, and I like the character of the Predator alien and design and all of that. So a quick synopsis: this movie is set in 1719 in the Comanche area, sort of like in the northern sort of Canada area. And it follows this Native American Comanche tribe, and our main character is a girl who she wants to be more of a hunter and the less traditional role in her tribe. She goes out hunting. She's got good hunting skills, and she's got her brother who's willing to help her. And then the predator shows up, and while she's doing her thing, trying to do this traditional hunt so she can be taken seriously in her tribe, the predator is on its vacation killing various animals, and then eventually they can collide. And it leads to, action, her trying to survive, her and her squad trying to kill this thing, and it gets really crazy. And I gotta say, this movie also has dual audio tracks, which usually happens, but they have the traditional English version, and they have the Comanche dub, which is basically all the Comanche natives speaking their native language. Going into this movie, I pretty much avoided it. The last one, from what I heard, wasn't good, and I wasn't that interested. But as it got closer to it being released, and then they dropped it on Hulu because it was a Fox film, and Disney, brought Fox, and they just said we're not putting this in theater, so they just dropped it on Hulu. I kind of got interested. I was like, I guess I'll check it out, and I finally watched the trailer, and the trailer was really good trailer. It got me intrigued. I'm like, hey, very much like the Predators film, where it's like, this is a cool concept. Can you nail it? And I would say that, they definitely nailed it. I watched this movie twice. I started with the Comanche dub, and then watch the English dub just to compare. I actually like the Comanche dub a little bit more because it forced me to be a little more engaged with the story. I would have to see read the subtitles to see what's going on. There's not a huge difference, but I think the Comanche dub is just slightly better because it gets you a little more engaged. It's much more immersive because when they get to the French guys, there's some French guys in this book. They just speak straight French. It says translated in French, but it doesn't really translate it. So the cast is pretty solid. Our lead character, Naru, played by Amber Midthunder. She's really good. Now, I wouldn't say great or anything, but she's really good, especially when it comes to her in the action roles, especially her when she's running and the facials and the screams. She's very good in that. Her brother Tavi, played by Dakota Beavers, is the young up-and-coming guy who could potentially be the war chief of the tribe. He's good. He has his small moments. There's no huge standout necessarily roles, but everyone plays their part very well. And Dane DeLaGuerro, who is the Predator in this, he does a good job in his role, big as hell. And I like the design. Design is definitely different from the traditional design, which I think is fine because the Predator doesn't have the same design because it's a different creature each time. And in this version, some people might be thinking, well, how are a bunch of Native Americans going to stand up to the Predator? It's so high tech. This is set in 1719, and this version of the Predator also doesn't have the high tech that the ones from the 80s and 90s and the recent reboot. He doesn't have all of that tech. He's got tech, but it's not as high tech, and he's not as armored as that one too. He's much more of a honorable Predator because it's like the Predator from the one in the first one. He was an asshole. He was OP as fuck, and he was just fucking around being a dick. This Predator is a little more honorable. He has certain rules that he follows. Same with the one in the second movie where he had certain rules that he would follow. But once again, still less high tech. Some cool tech how they reworked his gear in this. I thought it was cool. And I gotta say, the action when it came to this Predator versus humans, that shit was cool. It was definitely brutal. You're definitely gonna get some good action. The sound design was very good with, the sound of the predator and the sound of the impact of the blows and all of that stuff. And like I said, the audio for the different voices that you're hearing and all that, I thought was done very well. The CGI, most of it is very good, but this film did have a limited budget, so there's a lot of animals in it, and sometimes the animals are CGI. They don't look great. They don't look god awful, but they don't look like standard great either. So they had a limited budget. The score is pretty good as well. The cinematography of the landscapes that they have around them, I thought was also very good. So it's a very engaging film. Still, if I'm going to rank them, I would still put the first Predator as number 1. I would put Prey at number 2, which may sound cliche because a lot of people were saying that, but I think it definitely deserves that. I would put Predator 2 at 3. Predator 2 was my 2 because Predator 2 was dope as shit. When I finished that, that shit was dope as hell. I really enjoyed Predator 2. And Predators I have at 3, and at 4, and the others I can't rank because I haven't watched it. And Predators was dope as too, but I like this a little bit more. It's more streamlined, a little more straightforward, and I think visually it's a little more engaging than what Predators was. Not as engaging as Predators 2, because that whole movie is a fucking vibe, and it's dope. And the way that Naru comes out on top, I thought was very clever. She has to use her mind. She has to, observe her surroundings, observe how the predator moves and how she can set them up. It's good shit, man. It's really good. So definitely worth watching on Hulu. If you got Hulu, check it out. So that's all I have to say about the movie. If you liked it, let me know what you thought of Prey in the comments. Would you be looking for a sequel? Because I personally would like to see a sequel. Maybe not a direct sequel, but I want to see a Predator movie. Still set in the past, but he's in feudal Japan. He comes across a ninja clan. I want that to be either the next movie or a movie that eventually happens. I need to see that because the Predator is all about stealth and using tech and deception, and ninjas are all about stealth and using tech and deception. And I think it would be a very even match. No, not samurai. You can have a samurai in the movie, but the samurai gets fucked up because it's trying to be straightforward and honorable. But it's the ninjas who survive, man. I think that would be a dope ass film. But let me know some of your ideas of what you would like to see in a Predator film in the future. Let me know what you thought about Prey in the comments. And don't forget to like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel. We're still growing. We use your help. And stay tuned for more videos. Peace.